So, you're the new house help.
Yes, ma.
Breakfast must be ready by 7 o'clock every morning. This house must stay clean at all times. My son likes his coffee early. Don't disturb him unnecessarily.
Yes, ma.
You're the new maid?
Yes, sir.
Who is she? She's the new house help. What are you still waiting for? Please leave.
Yes, ma'am.
That was rude.
She's only a maid, Clinton. I see no reason why I can't talk to her that way.
Everybody deserves respect, regardless of their class.
Victoria Ekpo was 24 years old, and she had come to the Adebayo mansion carrying more than just a small travel bag. She carried the weight of her entire family. Her mother, Mama Ngozi, had been diagnosed with a serious kidney condition 6 months earlier. The hospital bills were mounting. The surgery she needed cost more money than Victoria's family had ever seen in their lifetime. Victoria had applied to over 20 domestic staffing agencies. She had knocked on countless doors. And finally, one agency called her with good news, a position as house help at the Adebayo residence, one of the wealthiest families in Lagos. The salary was more than she had ever earned. It was enough, she believed, to finally save her mother's life. Young Victoria! With excitement, Mama. The agency called me. I finally got the job. Once they pay me, I will take care of your hospital bills. You'll be fine again, Mama Ngozi responded cheerfully. God will bless you, my daughter. That single promise was the reason Victoria walked into that mansion with her head held high, despite the coldness that greeted her. She was not just a maid. She was a daughter fighting for her mother's life. What Victoria did not know when she accepted this position was that she was walking into a house of hidden agendas. The Adebayo family was not simply wealthy. They were entangled in a business arrangement that would determine everything that happened to her. You see, Clinton Adebayo was engaged, not through love, but through a business arrangement. His father, Chief Adebayo, had made a deal years earlier with Bella's family. If Clinton married Bella, the two families' companies would merge into an empire worth billions of naira. This was not a love story that was supposed to happen. This was a business transaction wearing the costume of romance. Clinton had never loved Bella. He had simply accepted his role, the way wealthy children often do, believing that duty came before desire. He had resigned himself to a marriage of convenience, until Victoria walked through that door. In the days that followed, Victoria tried her best to remain invisible. She understood the rules of her position. She was there to work, not to be noticed. But Clinton noticed her anyway. Not because she demanded attention, but because everything about her was different from the world he had grown up in. She was humble where his world was arrogant. She was genuine where his world was performative. Victoria tried to keep her distance. She had been warned, not directly, but through the atmosphere of the house, that stepping out of her place would have consequences. She avoided Clinton whenever she could. But avoidance is difficult when someone is determined to be seen. Clinton, with a concerned voice, asked, "You've been avoiding me lately. Did I do something wrong?" Victoria responded, "No, sir. I just don't want problems for myself." Clinton stepped closer, his voice softening into something Victoria had never heard directed at her before. Not pity, not condescension, but genuine care. Clinton, in a sincere voice, said, "Ever since you stepped into this house, I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. And don't tell me you don't feel something too, because I know you care about me." Victoria responded, "It doesn't matter if I feel the same way, sir. We are not of the same class, and I really need this job for my mother's surgery." Clinton asked, "Your mother is sick? You should have told me all this earlier." In that moment, something shifted between them. Victoria's careful walls, built to protect her position and her heart, began to crumble. Not because Clinton was wealthy, but because he was kind, in a way she had not expected from someone born into such privilege. Clinton did something that shocked Victoria completely. He personally arranged for her mother to see the best specialists in Lagos. He covered the costs of every test, every consultation, without expecting anything in return. He told Mama Ngozi that money should never be the reason someone loses their life. Clinton to Mama Ngozi, money should not be the problem. Once we conclude the necessary tests, we'll commence the surgery. And we'll do our best. Mama Ngozi with gratitude responded, "God will bless you, my son." That night, after leaving her mother's bedside, Victoria and Clinton spent hours simply talking. Not about wealth, not about status, but about dreams, fears, and the kind of connection that cannot be manufactured or bought. Victoria stayed by his side that night, not out of obligation, but because for the first time since arriving at that mansion, she felt truly seen. But happiness, especially forbidden happiness, rarely goes unnoticed. Someone in that house was watching, and that someone had every intention of destroying what was growing between Victoria and Clinton. Bella had noticed the change in Clinton immediately, the way his eyes followed Victoria across the room. The way he no longer pretended to care about their upcoming engagement. Bella's pride, and more importantly, her family's business arrangement, was at stake. She went to Madame Adebayo with her concerns. Bella said, "I have a strong feeling that this maid is the reason Clinton has been acting strangely toward me." Madame Adebayo responded, Then what are we waiting for? Let's chase her away from this house, Bella said. No, chasing her away will not solve the problem. We need something that will make Clinton denounce her forever. Madame Adebayo agreed to meet Bella privately that evening. What they discussed in that meeting would change Victoria's life forever. Madame Adebayo understood something that Bella perhaps did not fully grasp. This was not just about protecting her son's happiness or preventing embarrassment. This was about protecting a business contract worth billions of naira. If Clinton did not marry Bella, the merger between the two family companies would collapse. The plan was simple, cruel, and effective. Madame Adebayo instructed Victoria to bring her a glass of juice while she worked in the kitchen. What Victoria did not know was that the juice had been tampered with. A sedative, carefully measured, designed to make Victoria disoriented without causing lasting harm, just enough to create the appearance of scandal. Victoria, exhausted from her long day of work, drank the juice without suspicion. Within minutes, her head became heavy. The room began to spin. And then, everything went dark. When Victoria woke up, she found herself in an unfamiliar room. Confused, disoriented, and terrified, she had no memory of how she got there. But the room was not empty. Standing beside the bed, staged perfectly, was the family's gateman, a man Victoria barely knew. Victoria, panicking, she asked, "How did I get here? What is going on? How did I get here?" Madame Adebayo responded, "Maybe you should tell us. Victoria, what were you doing in this room with him?" Victoria continued, "Clinton, I swear I don't know how I got here." Clinton responded, "Do you really expect us to believe that?" Victoria, "I'm disappointed," Victoria pleaded, but nobody believed her. The scene had been arranged too perfectly. The room, the gateman's presence, the timing. Even Clinton, the man who had shown her genuine care, looked at her with disappointment and disgust. His trust, built over weeks of connection, shattered in an instant. Madame Adebayo scolded, "I will not have someone like you under my roof." Victoria was thrown out that same night. No explanation was accepted. No defense was heard. She left the mansion with nothing but her tears, and a truth that nobody wanted to believe. If you are watching this, and you have ever been falsely accused, if you have ever had the truth twisted against you by people with power, you need to subscribe to this channel right now, because what happens next will show you that truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to rise to the surface. Stay with me, because Victoria's story is about to take a turn that nobody in that mansion could have predicted. Victoria returned home broken. Her mother, still recovering, watched her daughter cry for the first time in months. Victoria explained everything: the accusation, the betrayal, the humiliation. Mama Ngozi listened quietly, her heart breaking for her daughter, but her faith in the truth unwavering. Mama Ngozi assured her, "It's okay, my daughter. Be strong. One thing I know, the truth will surely come out. But faith does not pay hospital bills." And within weeks, Victoria discovered something that would complicate her already devastating situation. She was pregnant. The child she carried was Clinton's. Victoria sat with this news for days, unsure of what to do. Clinton believed she had betrayed him. He would likely never believe that this child was his. And even if he did believe her, would it matter? He was still set to marry Bella. Victoria decided, with a heavy heart, that she would raise this child alone. Using the money Clinton had given her before everything fell apart, money meant for her mother's treatment, Victoria made a difficult decision. She used what remained to rent a small shop in a modest part of Lagos. She began selling provisions, small goods, anything she could to survive. It was not the life she had imagined, but it was a life built on her own determination. Meanwhile, back at the Adebayo mansion, something unexpected was happening. Clinton could not move forward. Despite everyone's insistence, despite the pressure from his family, he found himself unable to fully commit to his engagement with Bella. Something about Victoria's tears, her desperate insistence that she was innocent, haunted him. Bella, concerned, said, "Clinton has been distant lately." "Madame Adebayo, this isn't about work, is it?" Despite his doubts, Clinton continued preparing for his engagement to Bella. Madame Adebayo, sensing his hesitation, pushed harder. The business arrangement was too important to lose. She reminded him constantly of his family's obligations, of Bella's years of loyalty, of everything that was at stake. But the universe, as it often does, was preparing to reveal a truth that no amount of family pressure could bury forever. A truth that had been sitting silently within one man's conscience for weeks. The former gateman, the man who had been used as a prop in Madame Adebayo's cruel scheme, could not sleep. Every night, his conscience wrestled with the guilt of what he had allowed to happen to an innocent young woman. Finally, days before Clinton's engagement to Bella, he could carry the weight no longer. "Oga, it's me, the former gateman. My conscience has been dealing with me." "Oga, I need to tell you something," Clinton asked. "What is it?" Gateman responded. "I've been carrying this guilt for too long. Oga, Miss Victoria was innocent. Nothing happened between us. We never had any relationship." Clinton ached. If Victoria was innocent, why didn't you say anything?" Gateman responded, I wanted to speak, but I was warned to stay quiet. Your mother, Madam, told me to keep quiet. Everything that happened that day was planned. Clinton's world tilted on its axis. Every assumption he had made, every judgment he had passed on Victoria, crumbled in an instant. He brought the gateman inside, determined to hear the full truth from his mother's own mouth. Clinton, did you tell me the whole truth about what happened to Victoria? Madame Adebayo responded. Why are you bringing this up again? I already told you everything. Clinton, no, Mom. I'm asking if you told me the whole truth. Clinton called the gateman into the room, forcing his mother to face the consequences of her manipulation directly. The gateman, finally free of his burden, told Clinton everything: the sedative, the stage scene, the calculated cruelty designed to destroy an innocent woman's reputation. Yes, I'm sorry, I did it for us, for this family. We couldn't afford to lose that contract. Clinton, you did all this because of a contract. At what cost? Was it really worth it? Madame Adebayo, pleading. Everything I did was for you, Clinton. Then you never knew me at all. I'm calling off the engagement. Chaos erupted in that room. Bella, who had walked in during the confrontation, could not believe what she was hearing. Everything she had worked for, the marriage, the business merger, the social status, was collapsing in front of her. Bella, what is going on here? Clinton, asked my mother. Ask her what she did to Victoria. Clinton, Victoria is the woman I love. She's the woman I chose. But she was taken away from me because of your greed. The room fell into stunned silence. Clinton's declaration was not just an accusation. It was a truth he had been suppressing for weeks, finally spoken aloud without fear or hesitation. Clinton did not hesitate. Within hours he had left the mansion, determined to find Victoria and make things right. His father, Chief Adebayo, initially furious about the collapsed business deal, watched his son's determination with growing respect. Chief Adebayo, do you realize what you've done? The contract is over. Madame Adebayo responded, if that's your decision, so be it. Chief Adebayo, you're willing to lose everything. Not everything. I'd rather lose that contract than lose my son. Clinton searched everywhere for Victoria. He visited her old neighborhood, only to discover that she and her mother had moved weeks earlier. Life, it seemed, had not been easy for them since leaving the mansion. Meanwhile, Victoria had built something remarkable from the ashes of her devastation. Her small shop, started with the little money she had left, was slowly growing. She sold provisions, small household items, anything that could bring in income. Her mother, though still recovering, helped her manage the business. Together, they were surviving. Not thriving, but surviving with dignity. One evening, as Victoria closed her shop for the day, a stranger approached, asking about her specifically. Stranger asked, You've been asking about Victoria? Mama Ngozi, who are you? Stranger, I'm someone very close to her. I can take you to her. Word traveled through the network of people who had once worked at the Adebayo mansion. Someone who knew Victoria's location was willing to help reunite her with Clinton. The message was passed along carefully, cautiously, until finally, it reached the right person. Right. If this story has moved you, if you have ever fought for truth in a world that seemed determined to silence you, I want you to subscribe to this channel right now. Because what happens when Victoria and Clinton finally reunite will remind you why truth, patience, and dignity always triumph over lies and manipulation. Subscribe, because our next story will be just as powerful as this one. This is not simply a love story between a billionaire's son and a maid. This is a story about the price of greed, the power of truth, and the resilience of a woman who refused to let injustice define her future. Victoria did not wait for rescue. She built a business. She raised her child with dignity. She survived on her own terms, even when the world had thrown her away. Clinton did not simply fall in love with a maid's face or her circumstances. He fell in love with her character, her humility, her strength, her refusal to compromise her values, even when compromising would have made her life easier. And when the truth finally emerged, he did not hesitate to choose love over business, integrity over inheritance. If you are someone who has been wrongfully accused, if you have been discarded by people who claim to love you, if you have had to rebuild your life from nothing after betrayal, know this: the truth does not stay buried forever. Your dignity, your character, your resilience will eventually be seen by those who matter. And if you are someone with power, power over others' livelihoods, power over families, power over contracts and businesses, remember Madame Adebayo's lesson. Protecting wealth by destroying an innocent person's dignity is never worth the cost. Because in the end, you may find that what you were protecting was never as valuable as what you destroyed. Thank you for watching this story. Please support us by subscribing. Victoria's journey continues. As a mother, as a businesswoman, and perhaps as someone about to be reunited with the man who never stopped searching for her. This is The Millionaire's Maid.